Hello, 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 welcome back to HunterTuned. Today we're just gonna talk because that's what everybody loves. I'm just kidding. We're gonna put this motor, this is my B series that we built in the last video. I got a lot of it done off camera now. I just got the head fully assembled. We had to put rocker arms in the head. We had to put the timing belt on. I had to put a VTEC solenoid on it. The water neck, one of these coolant temp sensors was broken on this head, so I grabbed another one off of a spare that I had. We put the intake manifold on and a new gasket. We hooked up the LS VTEC line, coolant line for the intake to the thermostat housing. I don't know what else we did. Got the alternator on, the bracketry, the belt, the crank pulley, the motor mount, a whole bunch of stuff. So, that is about it. We got the timing belt tightened up properly, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stuff this thing into the car today, and figured I'd give you guys a video on putting it in. It'll probably just be me showing you what we're doing and then skip to another clip of it done, but that's how we roll on HunterTuned. I'm sorry, I'm not a good videographer, but hopefully I'll get better with time. So Christian is just putting a bolt through the cylinder head right now. We usually either use the bolt here on the cylinder head for the power steering, or we use the AC brackets down here that are in the block. They're just the 14mm Honda bolts, which I believe are a M10 or M12 size bolt. So he's just getting that on there. Good idea on the washer. We actually had one of those Harbor Freight engine levelers, but we recently broke it when we pulled the big block out of the Oldsmobile. When we pulled the big block out of the Oldsmobile, that little chain thing, we were trying to impact it on and off because we had a socket welded onto the end of the leveler, because normally it just had a handle. We put a socket on it so we could just hit it with the impact to level the motor where we wanted. And we tried leveling it with the big block and the 400 trans on it, and it broke the damn leveler. So we are actually just doing this old school way, and we got a strap. This is actually a dyno strap that we're gonna try out. So we're gonna hook this thing. Probably gonna use, I don't know what we're gonna use on this side, probably a distributor bolt. It sucks on Hondas because there's really not a whole lot of mounting places for an engine hoist. We'll just go right to the distributor mount. You could go to the one that's like, yeah, we'll go to the outside one right there. Yeah. We've done it this way 100 times, and it's never really broken anything or it's never fucked anything up. As long as you're not like reefing the motor back and forth a bunch, you should be fine mounting it this way. We also got the idle air control valve installed. One thing too is I was running a stock throttle body on this intake for a long time. We went 1080s with this like $100 intake, whatever this one is. It's like a Type R rep manifold that I put a mint sticker on. So that's pretty mint. And I had the sticker right here, and it got so dirty that it actually embedded a grease stain mint symbol on the intake. Mint. Yeah, that's what it looks like, don't it? Yeah, because the middle finger's gone. So I had a stock throttle body on this, and a subscriber that actually sent me one of these cylinder heads that I have for parts also sent in this VMS 70mm throttle body. So this is the throttle body that I'm gonna run because it has 70mm, it's a 3-inch outlet. So that's gonna sit on there like that. And I'm probably just gonna get a gasket or RTV a gasket on this thing so we can plug it in there. I can do a lot of this stuff when it's in the car, but I have to somehow get this to go on here, and we have a TPS issue here. So these are TPSs that I had laying around, so these are just like factory TPSs, I believe. And the way that this throttle body is machined, the throttle position sensor like arm inside the throttle body is too deep down inside of there. So it's like this part of the housing needs to be machined down in order to get the TPS to actually grab onto it. So like if I put this thing down on here, the TPS doesn't actually hit that arm that sits down in there. So maybe the VMS has a specific TPS, or considering it's a Chinese made product, maybe it was just machined wrong, and we'll have to just like take a Sawzall to this fucking thing and cut off a 1/4 inch. So you know what I mean? We could just cut down the throttle body in order to get the TPS to actually work, because if the TPS isn't actually or if the throttle body isn't actually turning this little spring thing that's inside the TPS won't function at all, and the car's gonna run like crap. So we have to figure that out. But I mean, yeah, fucking cut it with a Sawzall. It's threaded all the way down, so we could just cut it, you know, or machine it down somehow, some way, and we'll get that to work. I'm not too worried about it. But so that's that story. Now we're gonna get this thing picked up. So Christian's gonna hook up the fucking picker here.
I am.
And we will get, yeah, I guess you are. Or we are, you know, me and the mouse in my pocket.
Right.
And then once the engine is on the cherry picker, we're going to be installing our new competition clutch twin disc onto this engine.
Just over here jacking off.
Yeah, this thing pumps up pretty slow.
Right, full pump.
Whatever. All right, scooter in. You know, everybody's sick of me talking all the time, right? So we'll just show you what we're doing here, I guess. So strap, go in chain. I'll do this one-handed. Look at that. Okay, jack off again. So this is how we normally do it. We'll leave the engine stand like connected, and then once it's hovering in the air, I was gonna say you shit.
Not that time.
So we'll just leave this thing hovering in the air, and now that it's hovering in the air, we'll take the engine stand off of it, just like so. And now we can take the motor plate off, which I think is a couple 19s or 17s or 18s, whatever. I don't know.
Impact, no impact socket.
Also, Monday or Tuesday, I'm actually going to pick up the rear end for the Mustang so we get this thing fixed and go do some burnouts or something, because I'm jonesing. A21 Bravo went drag racing today in 30-degree weather because the track was open one last day today down in Union Grove. So he went down there, took advantage of that. And here I am putting a Honda together. So now we're going to grab the clutch kit and install the flywheel and the pressure plate and the discs and all that stuff.
Big old box.
Right? All right, 7.25 assembly installation guide. If no crank bolts are provided, use factory guide 10.9 bolt. If modified crank bolts are required, they're included in this kit and must be used. Use red Loctite on the bolts. Okay, here's an alignment tool that we'll need, even though I probably have one in the toolbox, but we'll use the one that's supplied in the kit.
You have 3 of them.
So we got our alignment tool here. We'll take out all this beautiful packaging from Competition Clutch. You guys need a clutch, hit them up. They're awesome. All right, so we're gonna take out these bolts here. These are actually Honda OEM part number 90011 PM0-000. They're automatic flywheel bolts. They're a little shorter than the manual ones. You need these ones for the twin disc clutch, which Competition Clutch so kindly supplied. All right, there we go. Now we need a socket that fits the pressure plate bolts here. There's 6 pressure plate holding bolts. We'll have to take all those off so we can bolt the flywheel on first, and then we can bolt everything on piece by piece. It's already got a pilot bushing installed into the flywheel as well, so that is mint. Oh. Oh.
Don't shit. Bust them off with the Bauer.
Okay, so here's the pressure plate. So we'll take it off piece by piece here. We got one of the discs right here. Goes that way. And we have one of these guys, and one of these guys, and one of these guys. And then we have the flywheel. We can bolt the flywheel on now.
That's not the same as Loctite. Hold on a fucking second. Just cause it's red doesn't mean it's Loctite, guy. I thought I brought some out here. You got a glue stick? We had some JB Weld, didn't fucking do it. It's not.
I do this when I don't have Loctite and it works fine.
Right,
You just need some goop on there so it doesn't move, you know.
Hunter's putting his Loctite on the bolts.
Yep. Now, if this was a customer car, I'd put red Loctite on it. But this is red Loctite HunterTuned. If they fall off, you could blame. I'm gonna call Permatex and tell them, hey,
Yeah,
your RTV doesn't work as Loctite.
Your Loctite sucks.
They're gonna be like, oh, what kind of Loctite did you get? I'm gonna say,
High
you know,
temp?
the high temp gasket maker Loctite. See, a dab will do ya, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little dab will do ya. Fucking plop her on in. See, the RTV will get bigger as it dries. You know what I mean? So it'll kind of, it's just like Loctite, dude. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So it's okay, Christian. This motor isn't gonna work anyway. You know, you know how many guys are saying that my stroke isn't matching my rod? You know what I mean?
No, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, my rods and strokes aren't fucking matched up, dude. So they're not gonna, it's not gonna work. And if it blows up, dude, it blows up.
Right, we still got.
Then next time we'll put red Loctite on the flywheel bolts.
Right. Not change anything else.
Right.
What's the torque spec for these?
All right, guys, so we're putting the new clutch throwout bearing onto the clutch fork on the transmission. This transmission...
Hasn't kicked on in the last 3 hours.
All right, so now we have the new throwout bearing installed. I believe it's a little shallower. Yeah, it's definitely like smaller than the factory one. So we have that installed. This transmission I built, it's been a while. It's just been sitting in the corner ready to go for a long time. This is a GSR transmission with Synchrotech carbon line synchros, stock differential, stock gears. The only thing that's done to it is those synchros. And it's just a good transmission. The teeth are clean. It's good to go, or should be good to go. So when I miss a gear, I got nothing to blame but myself. All right, so now we are going to install the transmission onto the engine, aligning the input shaft with the clutch discs inside the twin disc.
I got the motor so it's not fucking wobbling all over.
All right. So we'll get all the bolts started on the transmission bell housing. And once they're all started, we will just run them down evenly, one at a time, to suck it the rest of the way on. We're just stuck on the dowel pins on the engine right now. Otherwise it would probably slide right on. A lot of engines that I put together that don't have those dowels, the transmission just goes right on. But the dowels help align everything, and you know, we're doing this the right way, I guess.
I guess too.
Crap. All right. This thing doesn't have enough balls to strip anything or push it too far.
No.
So now we'll double check them with a ratchet. I got a good, like, at least half a turn. That ratchet is perfect. Or that impact is perfect. All right, guys. So we got the motor hovered over the car now. We had to jack the front end of the car up so we could fit the cherry picker underneath it. Everything is looking good. We got all our bolts ready for like all the mount bolts. We have them ready, sitting right up here. And we also installed the T-bracket onto the engine before we put the motor in the car, because the T-bracket will help us kind of guide it where it needs to go. We have to slide onto the back mount back here. And then, yeah, we'll line up the driver's side first, then the back, then the transmission. All right, guys, we got the engine and transmission obviously installed into the car now. This car is using Avid racing motor mounts. It's using the Integra style. Actually, I think it's Civic style too. It's the 3-bolt on the driver's side. Yeah, everything went in pretty easily, actually. The guy, when I got this car, well, when I traded my red EK hatch, traded it for this car, he actually gave me the T-bracket and the mounts, and I did the same for him on his trade. So I gave him the EK T-bracket and the mounts that I was using, and he gave me the mounts that he was using on this. So everything went together pretty smooth. We were missing a bolt for the transmission over here. I have to get a shorter bolt for the mount on that side, just like a short 17 mil, which I had one here. I have probably 10 of them at home, but we just don't have one at the moment. So I got to just put that on. And then we got to get little things like exhaust manifold, gasket, and start plugging everything in. This car is pretty bare. The wiring harness is in the car, so I have to bring that out here and try to figure out where everything's going to go. And then I need a clutch line as well. So the clutch, I need a slave cylinder and a clutch line, because there's no line coming off the master over there. So I got to get one of those. I got to get axles yet. I got an intermediate shaft, so that's cool. Did you bring that out here? No. Oh, it's in the truck. Okay. Yeah. Everything's coming together, guys. Pretty good. I have probably going to have to find a battery tray for this thing as well, which I think the junk car outside, our parts car, have one. I think it's got a battery tray. So we'll take the battery tray out of that car, I'm hoping, and be able to mount the catch can over here. A lot of stuff. Starter, coolant hoses, all that kind of stuff has to get done on this thing, obviously, before we start it. I'm waiting on a radiator to come in the mail. I ordered one on eBay. Should be here in a week, I would assume, a week or less. Yeah, but in the meantime, I'm probably going to get a lot of other things buttoned up on it and ready to go. So, like, I want to mount the intercooler and get that situated, and then I'll get the throttle body mounted so we can make sure that the piping and everything is going to fit, which I'm pretty sure this car came with this fucking badass intercooler. It's a backdoor style intercooler. We're going to run that. It's got a tile blow-off valve, and then there's one intercooler pipe, wherever it went. So this is the one intercooler pipe that's actually going to be on the car, and it has this really long semi-hose on it to accommodate the length for the intercooler or however need to run it. So that's just going to sit, oh yeah, dude, that's going to fit perfect. Hell yeah. So that'll bolt onto the intercooler right there. Blow-off valve will sit there. Oh, I'm fucking getting excited. This thing's going to be an animal. hopefully the motor holds together, and if it doesn't, we're gonna find, I mean, we'll find another motor. I mean, I'm probably already gonna be building a spare for this thing because it's gonna be a race car, and I don't expect, you know, the engine to last forever. I want it to last forever, and I did a lot of precautionary measures on this one, but I'm already preparing for another engine because it's a fucking Honda, they break. I do have spare transmissions waiting to get grenaded, but yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy. We did just kind of throw the turbo kit on here for the time being. I think I'm gonna have to get a coupler from 2.5 to 3 to mount onto the intercooler there as well. Once that's done, I got to figure out how I'm going to mount the intercooler as well, because the intercooler doesn't really have any brackets on it. Actually, it does have some brackets, but they're not really good brackets. They don't line up to anything. There's nothing to mount the intercooler to. So there is a traction bar. It actually is a filled, weighted traction bar down here that they had it just resting on, and the piping just held it before. So that's how the guys ran it before, at least. So I got to figure out how that's going to go. And I also want to get, I have a couple Heim joints. I brought 2 Heim joints out here from my house. They're just like tractor implement fucking Heim joints. And I'm going to run from here to the caster bars, or to the lower control arms. But the lower control arms on this car don't have the brackets to accommodate those Heim joints. So if anybody out there has the traction bar brackets that just bolt onto the cross, or the lower control arm there, let me know. I would gladly purchase them. I just need the brackets. I don't need a whole traction bar set up, because I have the joints, or the Heim links, so the bars that go from here to here, and I also have the bar already. So I literally just need the ones that bolt onto the control arms down there. So if anybody has those, that would be greatly appreciated. But I'm so excited to get this thing ripping, guys. This is like set up to rip. It's got blocks, drag coils all around. When I had this car previously a few years ago, it had the blocks, coils in it, and it had like bushings everywhere, which I want to get some spherical bushings for the rear trailing arms, and I want to get some stiff-ass bushings up front and stuff too, just to make this thing solid as hell, so it doesn't have any give to it, because we want to plant all the power into the tire instead of planting it into the suspension. And that's the problem that a lot of these little Hondas have, is they have a lot of deflection in the control arms and deflection everywhere, really, and it can kind of cause things to shimmy around and cause wheel hop, cause axles to break, etc. So the stiffer you can make the car, if you run a drag slick, it'll just put all the power into the slick instead of everywhere else. I don't know, I'm babbling right now, I could be totally wrong, but I'm just, that's my need sleep fucking assumption. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm excited. Thanks Christian for the help here. He's always out here fucking helping me out. Can't thank Christian enough. And yeah, that's it, guys. We're gonna pick up tomorrow or the next day on doing some more stuff out here. Hopefully working on this some more, or doing whatever. I really just have to move it out of the back here, and I have to install my new fuel pump. This thing has a full-blown pump hanger. It has a full-blown dual pump hanger with -8 feed, -6 return. I'm gonna be running that, but I'm not gonna be running 2 pumps. I'm just gonna run one Walbro 500, or the 525. It's the new high perf Hellcat Walbro fuel pump, and I think those are good for like 700 wheel on ethanol. I'm not 100% sure, I could be wrong, but the big fuel lines and the top hat for the tank helps a lot. So yeah, I just noticed something. This car's not going to have a working gas gauge, because there's no, the sending unit is separate on Hondas, I think. Is it separate on Hondas? Yeah, it is. We're good, I think. Yeah, the sending unit's separate. It has been a fucking hot minute since I worked on a Honda, guys. It's been like all summer. I used to like work on these things nonstop, but you got to refresh yourself once in a while with these things, because, you know, you stop working on something, you kind of lose your flow that you had. I still know how to like fix them once they're already in the cars and stuff like that. That's like easy. I can diagnose them pretty easy, but you know, when you're building your own, it's like totally different. You're relearning all over again. So
You overthink everything.
and you overthink it all, and yeah, exactly. But thanks. Have a great night and a better tomorrow, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will see you later.